Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your girl Mitzi, and this is Mitzi. Let's think about it. Today, we are thinking about how fiction helps us process truth. Ladies and gentlemen, isn't that something to think about? Yes, it is. And that's exactly what we will be thinking about today with my special guest, Michelle. Thank you so much, Michelle, for coming onto my show, sharing your time and your perspective with me. It's truly a pleasure to have you here. So let's just dive right in. When you hear the words, how fiction helps us process truth, what does that make you think about?
Makes me think about a saying a lot of people use where they say, I know exactly how you feel. And a lot of times that can be offensive to people because if you've not really walked in their shoes, you don't really know how you feel. And I understand people who say those types of terms because they're trying to be comforting, they're trying to be loving, and they're trying to be supportive of a situation. But I feel like fiction can kind of give you a little bit of a taste of those types of things because if you put yourself in the protagonist's shoes or the villain's shoes as you go through the journey within the book, you can actually sort of experience somebody else's pain, somebody else's griefs, somebody else's joys and passions. So I do feel that from a fictional standpoint, you can feel the same things.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's very right. And I think that's the reason why writers write in that format. We write fiction, we write fantasy, we write that because it allows us to just express our souls in an image that doesn't reveal our souls completely. You know what I mean? We're not completely naked out there into the world because we razzle dazzled it up. You know what I mean? We added a little
Yep.
spice here, a little spice there. It can't really be us. Nobody can really tie us into this because technically saying this never happened to me, but it kind of did. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
it really is our way of saying, here's my truth, but also here's a lie. Can you find the truth versus the lie? You know what I mean? So it's
Absolutely.
really interesting because people can relate to books in that manner. Because when you open a book and you actually read it and you put your heart into it, you can see it, you can visualize it, and oh my goodness, it's like a movie playing while the words while you're reading the words. So, have there ever been a book for you that you like fell in love with and they happened to make a movie out of it and then it ruined it for you?
Oh my gosh. I feel like trying to think
I
of
know.
which one off the top of
It's
my
a
head. I
thinker.
can't, I know that that has happened, but on a quick spot, I can't think of one at the moment. But actually,
Oh,
no, perfect example. Sorry, it took me a minute to get there.
it's
Um,
okay.
Janet Ivanovich is One for the Money. I love her series. I actually write very similar to her with my series because she was kind of one of the first authors that I really started kind of loving that mystery aspect, but a quick, easy read. And so I write very similarly. But her very first book in the Stephanie Plum series was a little on the darker side out of all of her books, but it's a mystery. Murders are happening, things can get dark. But they did the movie, and when they made the movie, they did it so wrong. The characters didn't even have enough of the same personalities as the original characters of the book. It followed book one, but it really didn't do it justice. And honestly, when you tell people, like, read this series, it's just a great series, it's so much fun, but you're always like, don't watch the movie, it's not worth it.
Yes, that is exactly how I feel with 60 Shades of Grey. Like, I loved all of the books. She wrote them beautifully. I got into every book, but as soon as the movie came out and I just started watching it, I was just like, I can't just stop. Like, it doesn't even work the same. It's not like my Christian Grey doesn't look like that. You know what I mean? My
Yep.
people, how I imagine them, don't look like that. So it really does disturb me. So I guess to go back into the main point of this is like, what does fiction make you think about?
Fiction in general makes me think of kind of an adventure, kind of an escape from your regular life, a journey that you can take it within your own safe confinement of wherever you reading nook, the beach, a boat, or maybe just in your bedroom, wherever you sit to read. It's kind of like you get to journey in. I mean, I always like to envision it like in Mary Poppins, where they jump inside the sidewalk chalk. Same kind of thing with books. You get to experience things that maybe you otherwise wouldn't. And some things maybe you don't really want to experience. So it's again within that kind of safe confinement of a book instead of certain things. Obviously, people don't want to be kidnapped and whatnot, but at least you get to experience and process through how others maybe would deal with that. Or,
Mm.
you go on adventures, you go to castles. I mean, how many of us get to hang out in a castle if you're writing fantasy? How many of us are princesses? I mean, you'd like to be a princess, but most of us aren't. So you get to pretend, and it's like a grown-up pretend. I've decided it's kind of one of those ways that, when you're a little girl, you get to dress up and do whatever you want, and you can play fairy
Yeah.
princess and things like that. But as an adult, I mean, most of us don't get to run around dressed up like a fairy princess. So your books become that. That's your kind of escape.
Yeah, I love that. It really is. It's like a form of escapism. It really is because it allows you to escape your reality in such a safe way that you're not really doing any harm to anyone. And as long as you're not reading and driving, we're good. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
as long as you're not reading and driving, then you are safe. You know what I mean? But
Then we have a different topic.
exactly. That's a whole different topic and a whole different avenue. So yes, I agree. I think that is something really to consider. Is like if you're having a stressful day and if you're just overwhelmed with life, sometimes just reading somebody else's fantasy, possibility, imagination, creativity, it really does allow you to escape. Or even the better one, when you actually write down what you'd wish would happen in your life instead of what's actually happening. Oh, that's a beautiful way to twists and turns the possibility of your life, and then you can go into your work field or go into your day-to-day life and not see it in that manner, not be so dreaded of like, oh, now I gotta go to work, now I gotta deal with Susie, you know what I mean? Now you can be like,
Yep.
yes, I will deal with Susie and it will be so much better. So yeah, it's most definitely an amazing situation. So I guess I have to ask you, what does truth make you think about?
What does truth make you think about? I think it makes, for me as a mystery writer, the first thing comes to mind is, the whole justice, the whole finding peace for whoever's involved in the mystery, a closure and a happy ending kind of thing. But as a regular individual, truth is just being honorable and, you know, trying to be the best version of yourself that you can be, and realize that, maybe sometimes you're not always the best person, but at least if you're learning and wanting to grow, then you're true to your internal true self. So that would be kind of my two truths angles.
I love it. I love it because it really does reflect your heart and it really does reflects, you know what I mean, the author's heart. And when you read in, you get to see a glimpse that people don't even realize. Like one thing I say to my authors is that you have become immortalized by your books. You know what I mean? Because one day you will die, but your books will never die. You know what I mean? They'll still be available one way or another years to come. And when they open that book and they read it, your life is alive and it's present in the day that they are reading it. And like even if it's 20, 30 years, 50, 80, 90, 200 years. I mean, you know what I mean? Because I still have the Alice in Wonderland first edition book in my house. So if I were to open it and start reading it, that person comes alive to this day in 2025. You know what I mean? 2026, 2027, whenever I decide to
Absolutely.
open it. And I think that's the beauty of just being an author, just having a story inside you, and just anyone who's listening and they have that story inside of them, but they're unsure if they want to be an author. I mean, like listening to this podcast, you know what I mean? Realizing that the fiction helps with process truth. It helps process your truth, and it helps process the other person's truth. It helps process everybody's truth because when we read a book, it's like, oh, wow, I'm not in this by myself. You know what I mean? So I guess I have to ask you, how do you determine the truth behind the exaggerated? You know what I mean? When you're reading a book or when you're writing your books.
How do I determine between the truth and the exaggerated part of it?
Yeah.
So from a writing perspective, you already know what your truth is going to be. You kind of know your core, your focal point of what you want your mission for with your book to be. At least that's how I typically write. I kind of have my beginning, middle, end planned out. I've got a few different things that I know I want to say. And then as far as like the embellishing part, the exaggerating part, it's more just kind of what helps to move that story along to keep it engaging, because you don't want to boil everything down to like one statement, because then it can get super boring. You know,
Hmm.
it just would become a very short story. Like we joke, actually, my family and I love Hallmark little romance Christmas movies and things like that, but the plot's always the same. But they have
Yeah.
to be. I mean, there's always a miscommunication, and there's always some reason, some sort of twist as to why you can't be together. And it's always cheesy because you're always like, oh my gosh, if you would just talk to each other, it would be fixed. But if
Yeah.
you did that, you wouldn't have this cute story to go through. So when it comes to that level of exaggeration or embellishing, you have to add that. It's the fluff that keeps the story sort of exciting, engaging, and gives you a purpose to write the whole thing instead of just saying, within a short summary, 2 paragraphs, this happened and this happened. The end.
The end. Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
That is so true. I mean, because people don't realize like you can only write a story in so many ways before it really does get repetitive. And when you watch Lifetime or Hallmark movies, you realize they're pretty much the same, but with just different actors and just different, another twist or another turn. You know what I mean? It's like Spanish soap operas or even English, any soap operas really. They all have like the same plot in some way, shape, or form. Somebody dies, somebody killed, somebody's cheating, somebody had a baby, you know what I mean? Something always happens in that manner. So I guess when did you learn to love, what I mean, fiction, and when did you get into this creativity in yourself and decide to write?
Well, I didn't read a lot when I was in high school. I didn't realize I needed glasses. I was passing those eyesight tests pretty easily, and then I ended up having a couple of children. Had gone to school. Different life changes happened, and my mother was like, you're breastfeeding. There's babies everywhere, kind of thing. Like you need to read. You need an escape. And I discovered I needed glasses at the same time. Well, my mom's like, you should read some books because I used to like them when I was real little. And well, I discovered a new passion, a new love for reading, being a young mom, being able to see with the glasses. And gosh, I just started just falling in love with these adventures because when you are raising two little kids, you've got nap time, you've got little things going on, and you're tired, so you don't really want to do a ton of stuff. But just cozying up with a book while your kids are like maybe sleeping on you or hanging out was
Yeah.
perfect. And I would always read children's books to my kids, which my daughter is an avid reader. My son, not so much, but he's just a typical boy. But my
Yeah.
daughter grew up with that kind of reading in her mind. Like she would see me reading, she would sit and read. And so as the years went by, they were still relatively young. I decided, gosh, I love this so much. I think I would like to write. So I
Mm.
started doing a little bit of writing. Didn't do a whole lot because my still main focal point was the kids. And I worked for a dance studio and theater company at the time. So I was a stage manager and I did costuming and all of that stuff backstage, hair, makeup, all those fun things. So it's kind of already in the crafty realm, but not in the writing realm. And I just kind of kept putting it off. Oh, I'll write a little bit here and there and putting it off. But once my kids were in high school and almost done and then actually finished graduating is when I really took the writing career very seriously and decided this is what I really do want to do with my life. I decided I love the theater, I love dance. It'll always have a huge piece of my heart, but I didn't want to do that into my late 70s and 80s backstage type stuff. But I could see myself writing until I can't write any longer
Oh
because it's just
yeah.
so much fun to me. I just love it.
Oh, I believe it. Oh my goodness. Nobody, unless you're a writer, you know what I mean? Unless you're a writer, you really can't relate and you're like, okay, yeah, there's no really big deal of it. It's not nothing. But in reality, it's like when you write, oh my goodness, it's like it's intimate with yourself. You know what I mean? Because you
Absolutely.
have this moment and like I don't know exactly how you like see it or how you write it, but for me, it's like as soon as I start writing, like I could see everything. You know what I mean? In my
Yes.
mind, I could see everything. So I'm just writing what I see, writing what I hear, writing what everything that comes out of my mind, like that's part of this book. And then when it's time for me to like give it a break and come back to it and rewrite, it's like, oh, but I missed this. This was part of the scene. This is part of this scenario. You know what I mean? And it creates this beautiful, oh my goodness. I'm so proud of my novel. Like I haven't published it yet, but it's gonna happen. I'm still at
It
the
is. And
final.
you,
You know what I
yes,
mean? And I
you're gonna
know it.
love it.
Yeah, I know, and it's my baby, so it's just like, oh, it's so precious. You know what I mean? So it's just
No, I agree 100%. It's like it is. It's your child. It becomes a child because you've put so much love and so much passion into it, and you want everybody to love it the way you do. I mean,
yeah.
that's a mom trait, you know that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, this is my child. But no, when I write, I don't know about you, but my characters, and some people get this, some people think it sounds crazy, but my characters are what end up talking to me. Like I almost
Mm.
feel like I hear them in my mind. and they'll be like,
Mhm.
oh, you need to say this and this and this, and I have this to say. And I've had a couple characters actually that I wasn't going to necessarily bring back. I wasn't going to kill them off, but they were going to be more of like a little side character. And
Yeah.
a couple of characters, as the course of the series has gone by, has been very adamant. No, you're not kicking me out of this. I want to be a part of this group. And, new things come up for this particular character. And it's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
maybe I was wrong to think I should get rid of you so soon.
Yes. Yes, I love that. And I think that's the beauty of writing is that allows you to realize that one, you're not crazy. You know what I mean? One,
Yep.
you're not crazy. It's real. They're there, but they're not there, but they're there. Just give it time.
You're,
It'll be there. You know what I
yes,
mean?
I agree
It'll be
completely.
there. Exactly. So it's just like when you're writing, it's a beautiful thing. So it's like it really it really does help you because when you especially when it comes to fiction, because when you do like nonfiction and it's very straight history, like research, boom, boom, boom. Like
Technical.
you kind of, yeah, very technical, and you kind of lose something, you know what I mean? Because it's very rigid. It's black and
Yeah.
white, no gray area, very black, white. That's it. Straight lines, square, triangle, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
It's very rigid, you know what I mean? But when it comes to fiction and fantasy and sci-fi and this being that really creative mindset, anything is possible. You know what I mean?
That's what's
Literally
beautiful.
anything is possible. So it's like everything that you think of or perceive or think is possible or is corny or impossible for somebody else, it's possible in your story. It's possible in your world. And I think that's our truth. You know what I mean? That's the holy grail of writers. You know what I mean? Is every
Absolutely.
book you put out, it's that it's just your heart. So I have to ask you, like, what are three things you're grateful for?
Three things I'm grateful for. I
Mm.
am grateful for having the most supportive, loving family. Gosh, and I mean family as a big family, my close knit family, my husband of 26 years, and he is the love of my life. Um, I would marry him 15 times over. I love that man so much. He's always been behind me, no matter how crazy my creative ideas get. He's like, I'll be your rock, I'll be your support. And I have the most wonderful children. They're such a blessing. We weren't supposed to be able to have kids, and I ended up with two, one of each, who are healthy, happy, smart, beautiful, wonderful people. So my family is definitely the top. My grandparents, my mom and dad, they've all just been such good support, wonderful people.
That's
And you said
beautiful.
three, so I got to come up with three. And that was kind of a lot of people. I
You mean
am
you can use that or you can
no,
actually
no, no,
do
no.
two?
I'll come up with them. The second one, I am super thankful and happy that I was able to accomplish getting two books published, and I have two more on the way. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. At least I feel like it is because it's a
It is.
hard world to do that kind of stuff in. And I think the percentage of people who want to be an author that actually end up getting published is like 1 or 2% of people who would love to
Exactly.
be an author. And there's so many various reasons why it doesn't happen for certain individuals. And it's sad, it's heartbreaking to me because it is such a beautiful, fun profession,
It
but it's a
is.
hard work profession. And
It
it's,
is.
yeah, it's difficult. But I do think that, getting two books done and published is a huge blessing as well. And my third one will be for actually my animals, which is sort of family, but my animals too, because they're also part of my life. They're my children, my fur children. I'm just very lucky to have them in my life too. And they sit with me while I write. They're just very good companions. So I think
Yeah.
those would be my top three blessings, is to have my family, my pets, and the fact that I was able to actually get books published.
No, that is a blessing. That's something that you should most definitely honor because not a lot of people have family and not a lot of people have pets and not a lot of people actually step forward and actually write that story that it's in their heart. Even if the opportunity of having a publisher or going self-publishing route is there for them, that fear factor will always hold them back. So that is something that you should be grateful for. You should wear proudly, like yes, I am a published author. I'm not just a writer. You know what I mean? I'm not just in that transition. No, I am published. Like it is something amazing that I can say like, yes, I have published three children's books and it brings me joy to know that I have those out there because if I die today, then at least I know that a part of me will continue to live
Will live
on. You know
on.
what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
And that's what most definitely brings me joy, is that at least I marked that off my list, because one day I woke up and I was just like, I always wanted to write, but I never knew I could do this. And it's like, man, if I were to die today, would I really have something to show for it? You know what I mean? I had no kids at the time. I had no husband at the time. It was just me and my dog at the time. So I was just like, no, I'm gonna do it. And then I wrote my books. I found a self publisher. I that was affordable, because let's be honest, it can be expensive.
It can be
But
very
you know
expensive.
what I mean? So I found one very, 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 very affordable. And thankfully it was COVID time, so everyone was doing promos. You know what I mean? Those
Yep.
discounts. So I was like, let me hop on that. And so so it was very very special for me. So I know exactly what you mean. And you know what? No one can take that away from you. You know what I mean? Because when you
No.
go to parties and they're like, "Oh, what are you?" I don't just say, "Well, like I'm this or I'm that." Like, I'm a published author. And they're like, "Oh, how nice." You know what I mean? They think something of you.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
no. No,
So,
absolutely. But I will say one thing, just because you're published, that's an amazing accomplishment. As you know, it's not easy, it's not cheap. And you do have to be willing to wear your emotions on your sleeve, but then also be able to put like almost a shield of armor around you as well. Because no matter what, not everybody is going to like everything you do. That's
yeah.
just a fact of life. That's another fiction of truth. I mean, not everybody's going to like everything you write, or everybody's going to like everything you say. But you try, like I said before, you try to be a good person, you try to be awesome, just all loving. But just because you don't have a book published doesn't mean that you haven't accomplished something. I just feel
There
like
you
if you're
go.
writing and you're trying your very hardest, and this is a passion and a dream you have, then you should go for it. It's going to be
Absolutely.
hard work. It's going to be a long road. And it's not like, oh, I'm going to get rich so fast. But if you love this and it's inside you and you have a story you need to tell, then you should. The world needs
Mhm.
to hear it because it's telling
Yeah,
you to get out there
exactly.
and do it. And so discouragement, I would never discourage anybody. I think anybody who has this passion should just do it. Absolutely do it.
Yeah.
See where it takes you. Enjoy the journey the best you can along the road. Know that you're going to fall and then there's going to be a little road rash along the way. But if you pick yourself up and you dust yourself back off and you just keep persevering, it can happen. It can happen for anybody.
Oh, absolutely. It really does, because we just have to be realistic, you know what I mean? Be realistic at the same time, and just realize, okay, maybe not right now, but maybe I will. I will have it on your plan, because it's like you you knew it when your babies were still babies, but then you knew it in your heart throughout the years, throughout the time, that this was something that you wanted to do. And slowly and surely you worked on it when you could. And then boom, as soon as you realize, this is my time, this is my time, I'm going to do it.
Time
You
to
know what
do
I mean?
it.
Then you do it. So it's just like, everybody has a story. I always believe it. Everybody has a story inside them. They just have to, you know what I mean? Just take that step. Write it on a piece of paper. Go old school. Get a notebook. You know what I mean? That's what
Yes.
I did. I was just like, I'm so determined that I will do this one day. One day this will be published. I literally grabbed a notebook. I have it in my storage, because that's gonna be my proof, so that when it's actually published and I have the hard copy in my hand, I could put it next to it, like where it started and where it ended, and you know what I mean, where I'm at now. Like, that's something that nobody can take away from you. You know what I mean? So it's like,
No.
oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, go after it. And I know time is catching up to us, and I'm really sad, Michelle, because I feel like we could keep talking about this for like hours on end.
We
But
could.
what could be some lasting words that you can leave us off with to keep on thinking?
Some lasting words to leave you off with. Well, since we're still talking fiction truth, but kind of on our almost like detour to a dream path, I feel like I kind of said before, if you have it inside you and you know that's deep down somewhere you want to be an author, do it. Try it, go for it. Tell the world your truth through your fiction. Show the world your adventure and what it is that it means to be you. I mean, maybe your character is based off of something that's happened in your life. Maybe your character is somebody you wish you could be, and you know that your current situation won't let that happen. Whatever it is, and whatever the truth that you want to tell the world, you should do it. And just know that doors do open. Sometimes you just have to look really hard.
Just keep on looking. Sometimes there's like a brush. Just move the brush over. You know what I mean? Move the old trees over. There's a door right
Yeah.
there behind it. If you knock, it'll open. You never know. Sometimes you really do have to just take that leap of faith. You know what I mean? Step in the unknown and into the
Yep.
possibilities, because sometimes that's where the blessings are hiding. So that is
No,
truly something to
absolutely.
keep on thinking. So thank you so much, Michelle, for coming onto my show and sharing your time. And ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this conversation, because how could you not? Let me say, how could you not? Please go check out Michelle. I have her photo on my website. If you find it, you can click on it and it goes straight to her website. And if you're listening on audio or on YouTube, you don't even have to go searching. Just it's right there. Just click on it and it goes directly there so that you can find all the great content that she has to offer the world, so that obviously you can continue on thinking. So, with that being said, bye.